Hey everybody, my name's Jerry Kraft. I'm the slide guy, and I wanted to do another video in my series trying to offer some tips and tricks to those learning slide guitar. What I wanted to talk about today, I've been asked by quite a few people about my other fingers. Basically, what are you doing with your first and second finger and your thumb as opposed to the slide? So obviously with the slide, we covered in a previous lesson, the way I try to do slide is I really try to think about that slide being parallel with the frets, mainly because I like to do a lot of full chording, things like that. And even when I'm doing some of the Sonny Landreths playing behind the slide, try to keep that slide pretty parallel. I really use my first and second finger and my slide finger, my third finger, I really use them as a whole. In fact, quite honestly, the pinky will actually be a part of that little entourage as well. So when I'm playing slide, I'm really not just thinking about where my slide is, I'm really thinking about where my entire hand is placed on the fretboard. So for example, if I'm sliding up to a 12th fret chord, my pinky actually rests against the slide and kind of helps hold that slide in place against my third finger. All four of these fingers actually kind of clamp together into one piece, if you will. They're really working together to help me maneuver that slide and manipulate the slide position. And the other thing that I'm doing too with my thumb, I really think of my hand as like a clamping, like I'm clamping this together. My hand doesn't work independently. These five fingers really work together as a group to help hold that slide and put that slide exactly where I want it to be on the fretboard. So my thumb, as I'm moving up the neck, my thumb is actually sliding along with my fingers. Usually I'll have it in a position where it kind of drags behind a little bit, but it's kind of in this position like this. And when I go to do a vibrato, for example, so I'll slide up to a 12, for example, and then when I do a vibrato, my thumb will position, and that's really what I use to kind of push and pull against for my vibrato. My thumb actually pushes my hand away and then pulls it back into position, and that's how I get that vibrato sound, like a. So that's another way that this hand works together. So I don't really think of my fingers as independent pieces. My five fingers really work together. Each one has a function when I'm playing the slide. Now you'll see me occasionally, like especially if I'm doing slide work down here on the first string, I'll kind of pull off and, you know, because I don't have a lot there. But even then, the tips of my second and first finger are really still acting as a guide. I can feel that string underneath those fingers, and it still helps me act as a guide to get where I want to be. Obviously, as we come back down, that fingers just come right over like that. What I would do is try to think of your fingers, even if you're if you're a pinky player or a third finger player like me, and even like Bonnie and Joe Walsh, you know, people who play on the middle finger. Sometimes you'll see them do something like that where the fingers are off. I don't do that very often, because I really don't have any control. But generally you'll see those hands working together. What I would do this week is practice taking some of your basic chords, like your 1 chord, your 4 chord, which is on the 5th fret, and your 5 chord, which is on the 7th fret. And I would practice sliding in and out of those, really thinking about how all 5 of these fingers work together. Not just the 4 on top, but your thumb behind as well. So when you slide into a chord, and you park, there's my park spot, that's where I'm going to land. The next part of that is your vibrato. So what is my thumb going to do to help me push and pull that hand back to get a nice even vibrato? into riffs, something like that, for example, that flat 7 double stop. What I've done there is I've parked my thumb just like if I'm going to slide to the 3rd fret, and then to slide into that, my thumb actually stays positioned, and actually that's what I'm pushing against to get that slide to slide into the 3rd fret like this. Even if I'm coming off like a 4 chord or a 5 chord, if I'm going to do that same flat 7 riff, I'm pushing off that thumb. So take some time this week and try to think about those fingers really working together as one whole unit. I think that will help give some control, a little more accuracy with the slide. Obviously, if you have any questions, you can email me. If you liked the video, give it a like below, and don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget that I am offering Skype lessons as well. So if you're interested in having a Skype lesson with me and looking at some of this hand technique a little bit further, shoot me an email and we can discuss that as well. Love to get you started on that. So we'll see you next time.